So here's a question. Chad, I was hit by a semi-tractor trailer and they were going across the country and that trucker blew into me and I'm hurt and my doctors are telling me I could be looking at a year or more of care before we know the eventual outcome of where I'm going to be in my life. What is this thing I hear about preservation letters and why is that important in my case? A preservation letter is this concept. Interstate trucking is federally regulated, and what interstate trucking is every time a semi-truck takes goods across one state line into another, very often the real core reason why a truck accident happened is because a trucker got fatigued. Why did the trucker get fatigued? Because he went beyond the hours that a trucker is supposed to be driving. He got fatigued. Maybe he even took some drugs to continue driving. And then he altered his logbook and he did a bunch of other alterations in order to try to justify in the event he got pulled over by a police that he was still on duty and was still in compliance. Now, all of the logbooks, all of the data from the truck itself, all of this stuff under our federal laws only has to be maintained for 6 months. Even if a crash is the reason why the truck is out of service, they don't have to preserve those log documents beyond 6 months. Now, if you come into my office and your claim is ready for a lawsuit and we can do it within the 6-month window, no problem. I can send out immediately a formal discovery demanding all of those log paperworks and documents, and they'll have to give it to me. But what if your case simply isn't ready within 6 months to start a lawsuit? That can happen a lot. That is where a preservation letter comes in. This letter is a comprehensive letter that will ask that the trucking company preserve beyond that 6-month window all of the relevant important documents that are frankly going to likely prove how negligent that truck and that trucking company was. If they ignore the preservation letter, and they often do, because there is a preservation letter that we can show we submitted to the trucking company, the law says that we can ask the court when we eventually sue that the jury gets told that the documents were destroyed after a letter was sent asking that they be maintained, and the judge will do one more thing. It's called an adverse inference instruction. The judge will be told, will tell the jury, you jury can assume that the reason these documents were destroyed is they were very, very detrimental. The knowledge of this information will be very detrimental to the trucking industry and to the trucking company itself in this case. And why you want that stuff is oftentimes that's what proves that the trucker was operating beyond the legal hours he should have been working, that fatigue is really the reason why this crash happened, and it's the whole case. So it's a death nail. It's a death nail in a case if you're a trucking company trying to fight the responsibility of hurting somebody, where now the judge is telling the jury they destroyed documents when they knew they were important. They destroyed those documents and you can assume they were deadly for them. This is why a preservation letter is so important. Now, you don't have to hire me to get a copy of a good preservation letter that you can use yourself. You simply need to call me and ask me to give you a copy of one. Every case is different, but I'll do my best to give you a copy that you can use yourself just to protect your rights. If you want to later hire us or another law firm, at least within that 6-month window, you've protected those documents. And I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.